So beautiful. I love you, Mother Nature. I gotta trim my beard. Do I have any boogers? Look at those cute little alfalfas sprouting. Hello. Yes. Welcome to the world. You're my food. Oh, this tree fell. It's new. Oh my god. No way. A tire! Look at that. That tree fell. That wasn't down before. That's actually right where I was gonna go in because there's a nice little hole there. That's what she said! Anybody watch The Office? I just watched that episode with the fire drill. Stanley has a heart attack. Hello, Clarice. Fucking Dwight. Alright, that's where I was gonna go. There's a big pile of white shit. I wonder if it tastes good. You know, I was gonna jump in this water, but glass, 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 glass. So I don't know if it's such a good idea anymore. I'll just get in the pool later. My ass is gonna get wet. Ah! Right up my butt. Paint me like one of your French girls. What if I fell and got it on camera? That'd be sick! What's up? So... Alright, I made it. See my breath, it's cold. Yeah, I don't really feel that cold because I've been training for a while, but this video is not about me. This video is not about the cold. This video is about veganism, and as a result it's about animals and the environment and your health. So I wrote a blog about it called Animals, Earth, Self-Love, and Other Reasons Why I'm Vegan, and I'm reading off of that blog because my memory is complete garbage. So start off with what Veganuary, whatever you want to say is basically a month where you can commit to being a vegan, or at least try your best and kind of see how you feel. So here's how I started going vegan. So this is kind of just to help you if you want to give it a shot. So I cut out the non-vegan food that I didn't like first, so it was kind of easy. And I never liked pork, never liked fish, so I committed to 4 weeks of no pork and no fish. And it was easy. I mean, the only pork that I ate was bacon, so it was kind of hard. Like my friends would be like, hey, we got bacon, chicken, pizza. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I committed to myself. But after a while, that was okay. And then after that, I cut out red meat. I never really ate a lot of red meat. I used to love burgers, and that was about it. I was never really a big steak guy. And that was kind of tough because, you know, you're out drinking with your friends, you want to go to Five Guys, you want to go to McDonald's or whatever, and you can't. You're like, no, I really can't have any of that. So that was kind of a challenge. I think that took about 4 or 6 weeks. Then after that, I cut out birds. And it's kind of funny, when I say birds, people are like, you used to eat birds? Because a lot of people don't equate chicken or turkey or duck that they're actually a bird. You're eating birds. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so no birds, so no turkey, turkey, chicken, listen to me. Turkey, chicken, or duck. Alright. And I never ate duck, but turkey It was only on Thanksgiving, so that wasn't so hard. But chickens and everything. I mean everything. You go out to any restaurant, and it's hard to find a dish without chicken. I mean, chicken Caesar salad, chicken Caesar wrap, grilled chicken, baked chicken, fried chicken, chicken fingers, chicken wangs, like everything has chicken in it. So that was hard. That took me probably about 2 months to like be okay with not having chicken. And then came the tough part, cheese. Cheese was and dairy, like milk and all that, and ice cream and pizza. I used to love pizza and ice cream, but that's why I was out of shape because I used to eat it every day. So that was hard, mainly because dairy contains a protein in it called casein. And within casein are these things called casomorphins. And casomorphins attach to the morphine receptors in your bloodstream, which is the same receptors that heroin attaches to. So dairy is addictive. This is why a lot of people, I talk to people who are overweight, and they say, man, I can't do the whole vegan thing. I have to start my day with cheese. And they're like, yeah, but cheese is not addictive. I don't believe that cheese is addictive. And I'm like, you just told me that you can't start your day, not even go a day, but start your day without dairy. So it's a very, very powerful drug. Very powerful drug, dairy. And that was hard for me. Cheese is, and milk is also in everything. I mean, macaroni and cheese. Breadcrumbs have milk in it. You look at it as dehydrated or hydrated milk. A lot of protein bars. I couldn't have any more protein powder that was like what's that C word? Fuck, my buddy drinks it all the time. Creatine. Duh. No creatine and no protein powder. I use a vegan protein powder now, but that has milk in it. That was hard. And also cheese is on everything. Cheese is on everything. You go anywhere, to any restaurant, and there's cheese on it. So after I cut out cheese and dairy, that was honestly about 2 months before I could be like, okay, I don't want pizza, I don't want ice cream. Then came eggs. And I was never really a big egg person, but just like chicken and dairy, eggs is in everything. If you start to read labels with what you eat, you'll see that eggs comes in everything. And gelatin too. Gelatin was something that I learned wasn't vegan when I was vegan. So I was the whole vegan thing is a journey, right? So you learn as you go along. I just learned maybe about like a year ago that gelatin is actually the crushed up bones, tendons, ligaments, snouts, hooves of animals, basically byproduct of animals. And gelatin is in Lucky Charms. It's in the little marshmallows. It's in gummy bears. It's in those, anything that's like chewy, like a candy, like the blue sharks. So that's in everything, which is spooky. But back to the eggs. Eggs is in a lot of things. Eggs is used as a breading for like chicken parmesan. Eggs is in, again, protein bars. Eggs is in a lot of breakfast foods. Eggs are in a lot of things. So that took me a couple of months to cut out. But once I did that, I was fine. I mean, you know, after I finished that whole initial journey, there was a couple of times where I cheated. You know, I had a pizza, or I had you know, like a egg salad. I don't like egg salad sandwich. I don't know why I said that. Or like I don't know, Lucky Charms, for example. But I noticed that every time I cheated, I felt worse and worse afterwards. I was like, man, I shouldn't have ate that. Like, after eating dairy, almost immediately, like, oh my god, oh, this is a big mistake, you know? So now I don't even crave that stuff anymore. I don't have it, and I'm okay with it. So that's how to go vegan, that's how I went vegan. And I suggest you use it. It worked really good for me. And now on to me reading off my phone. I'm not really reading off my phone, I'm just looking at it for reference. So let's see. Now, it's funny, the big reason for me as to why I'm vegan is the animals. There's the argument that some farms treat animals ethically. And yes, that's fine with me. But that's just not reality. That's not how your everyday average person consumes animal products. Let me read off this statistic right here. This website, this blog I'm reading off of, I wrote and has a bunch of cited sources, and I'll include the link in the bio so you know I'm not just reading horse shit off my phone. The average American eats roughly 193 pounds of beef, pork, and or chicken a year, or more than 3.7 pounds a week. There are roughly 372 million people in the United States. Now you multiply those two numbers together, the 372 million people, by 193 pounds, that's, this is a big number, 63 billion 111 million pounds of meat per year just in the United States alone. So there is no way that we can responsibly and ethically raise, kill, there's no ethical way to kill anything, and consume these animals. The demand is just too high for it. There's no way that it can be done. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There is no way that you can ethically and responsibly raise these animals to consume. So the way that it's actually done, I'll break down the life cycle of a dairy cow, just for example. So, birth. If it's a male, if it's lucky, it'll live, become a bull, and just be constantly jerked off all the time for bull semen, and I'll get to that later. Or it's most likely brought up to become veal, and veal is months-old calves slaughtered at a very young age. So the life cycle of a male cow is either very short or very long and weird. And also, just so you know, bulls, like in Central and South America, when they do those rodeos, even in America, they do those rodeos, and you see the bull kicking its hind legs, running around like a maniac. You know why it does that? Because they tie the fucking bull's balls up with like a belt, like around it, and the bull's freaking out. I mean, if I had something on my balls, I'd lose it. So that's also very unethical and really fucked up. So going back to the life cycle of a female dairy cow. So a female dairy cow is birthed. Almost immediately, the cow is taken away from its mother. If not immediately taken away from its mother, then it's put a muzzle on its mouth so that it cannot drink the milk out of its mother's udder. Weird. Now, eventually, the baby calf is ripped away from its mother. Cows are very emotional animals. They know when their babies are taken away. The mother goes into stress, the child goes into stress. It's terrible. A lot of people laugh and joke about that stuff, but it's not funny. It's not funny. Did you ever see a mother cow run after its baby being taken away by a farmer to be slaughtered? It's terrible. It's terrible. It's absolutely heart-wrenching. The sounds they make, very sad. So then the female is brought away from its mother, injected with all kinds of growth hormones, antibiotics to grow faster, because in order for a cow to produce milk, it's a mammal, right? So in order for a cow to produce milk, it must be pregnant or recently given birth. So they accelerate the growth of these cows, giving them growth hormones, antibiotics, all this stuff, so that it can mature quicker. Now once a cow is able to give birth, it's then raped, and I say the word raped because that's what it is. You can rape an animal, and I'll tell you how they do it. There's a bunch of ways, but there's two primary ways they do it. Remember that bucket of bull semen I was talking about earlier? So the first way, I think the most common way, I'm not sure if it's more common or not to be honest, but a way that they do it, a common way, how about that, for all of you word pickers out there, they get a giant glove that goes up to their shoulder, they put their arm like elbow deep in bull nut, and they pull out the bull nut, and they shove it in the female cow's vagina. And the cow is tied up, it can't do anything, and it just they kind of massage the inside of the cow's vagina. They do it again, just to make sure. They do it again. So, it's kind of weird. And then the second way is called a rape rack, and it's just where they tie up a cow and they have like a steel rod, or they have some kind of rod, I don't know if it's steel or not, and they put bull nut on it, and then the cow's there and the thing goes and just like goes in the cow's vagina like it's a bull and just gets it in there, and the cow is completely traumatized. I mean, it's wrong, very wrong. Alright, so the cow's raped. Moving forward. Then the cow is put into a small cage, or free range, which doesn't mean anything, and gets pregnant. And now, once it gets pregnant and it's able to produce milk, it is then hooked up to these machines where they have these things they put on the cow's udders, and it pulls out the milk. And these machines cut the cow's udders, so as a result the cow bleeds. So two things happen. First thing is that this blood gets into the milk. The second thing is that these cuts get infected. So now you're also getting pus into the milk. And there is a legal amount of pus and blood available that farmers can have in their milk. So you are drinking a certain percentage of cow blood and cow infected pus whenever you drink milk or eat cheese. Fun fact, disgusting. Then the cow gives birth, and the cycle continues. The average cow can produce 2 to 4 calves in its lifetime. Now, once the cow can no longer produce children, it is then slaughtered. And the ways that cows are slaughtered are completely cruel, vile, and evil. They're shot in the head, they're strung up by one leg and have their throat slit, or they have a knife stabbed in the side of their throat. There's all kinds of ways that cows get killed. Now, there's no way to ethically or morally kill something that doesn't need to die. There is nothing that we get from animals that we cannot get from plants. Nothing. So that's the life cycle of a dairy cow, to depress you, if I haven't lost you yet. Because, you know, when I start talking about that, I lose a lot of people, and I get it. It's uncomfortable, but it's the truth, and that's what happens, and you have to know that. Moving forward. All right, let's see. So, wrapping up the whole animals thing, not even being a yogi, not even being a peaceful person, but just being a good person that has morals and ethics, I cannot justify killing and consuming something for no reason, especially when that something is murdered, raped, and tortured its entire existence just for me to consume it. Doesn't make any sense. Moving on to Earth and the environment. Now, I love the Earth, everyone knows that. Let's see. Ocean dead zones. Let's get into this. So, a lot of the land animal agriculture actually affects water, fresh water, and salt water more than anything because of the runoff. But let's get to the dead zones. So, again, this is on my blog. I can't memorize this stuff because my memory is terrible, but I can record it and write it down and repeat it. Dead zones are areas in the world's oceans and large lakes caused by excessive nutrient pollution from human activities, coupled with other factors that deplete the oxygen required to support most marine life in bottom and near bottom water. This means that due to the waste runoff from these animals, as well as nutrient pollution from their feed, oxygen levels in certain parts of the ocean are so low that life cannot exist. These dead zones are close to shore, which means that your favorite animals like sea turtles, dolphins, crabs, small fish, manatees, bigger fish. What else do I have here? Seagulls, starfish, stingrays, all those really cute animals that you see all the time, especially if you live in, tropics, they're dying. They're being killed by these dead zones because the oxygen level is so low. It's like, for humans, to relate it so you might understand it if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's like humans wandering into an area where there's a lot of carbon monoxide, and they just kind of don't know where to go because you can't see carbon monoxide, so you kind of can go deeper into it, you can get out of it, but either way you don't know. And these animals, the same thing, so it's low oxygen levels is similar to carbon monoxide in the air for us. So they go into these low oxygen levels part of the water, and they don't know what's happening, they don't know how to get out because they can't see that it's low oxygen levels, so they get stuck and they die. Mass fishing. Now, this one slips past a lot of people who live in New England. I grew up in New England because seafood's like a staple of our life. You got cod, lobster, blue crabs, mussels, a lot of shellfish. It's like what we're known for. You know, we're known for seafood. Also, the freshwater, a lot of trout, bass fishing. But so what happens with this mass fishing is that they go out into the ocean and they have, oh, a nice leaf. They have these massive nets. What these nets do, these nets are unforgiving. These nets cannot phase animals they don't want to catch. They just, they're like, okay, I think that there's a bunch of this kind of animal here, this kind of fish that I'm trying to fish. Here's this massive net, time to drop it, and they drag it. Now, as a result, they get this thing called bycatch. Bycatch is like collateral damage. So if you're fishing for a school of cod and there's a manatee, or there's a dolphin, or there's a whale, or there's a shark, or there's a sea turtle in the middle of that school of fish, they're going to get caught up too and killed. Now, how can animals get killed in the giant net? Alright, let's pretend you're in New York City. A giant net appears out of nowhere, starts sweeping up people for miles, right? So what happens is the weight of the people crushes the people beneath them. Same thing with sea life. The weight of the other sea life and the pressure of the water pushing against it crushes the animals against each other. And that's, if they don't die after being taken out of the water, they die there. I have some interesting statistics here. Yeah, so it already dwindles a lowering population of already endangered species. Which is sad. It's a really terrible way to die. It's really unnecessary. Now moving forward to North Carolina hog farming is killing people. Now that seems like a hyperbole, but it's not. Let me explain to you. So hogs, just like any other animal, they have waste, right? They piss and shit. Also, when they kill these hogs, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of waste, like guts or whatever, just disgusting things, brain matter, just ligaments, whatever. And so they have these giant red lagoons where they filter all this waste into, and there's just so much of it that when it rains heavily, especially during the last hurricane. Now, this is something that the news didn't cover, and it doesn't surprise me, but it was sad. So the hurricane that hit last year in North Carolina, they hit the hog farms too, and they flooded the areas horribly. And as a result, all of this waste flooded into nearby neighborhoods and towns. And now these people are getting sick because of it, and the smell is just disgusting. The smell is so bad in the air that it gives people cancer in their lungs. That sounds like a hyperbole again, but it's not. Now, even before that, it was so bad that I think it was the FDA or the government or something said, okay, you need to do something about, because even before the hurricanes, it was still flooding and leaching into the nearby town, and the smell is terrible. So they said, you need to do something about all of this liquid waste that you have. And the animal agriculture industry said, okay, well, why don't we just take this disgusting liquid, turn it into a mist, and spray it into the air? Huh, fucking genius, right? No, that gave people even more lung cancer, even more asthma, even more respiratory issues, and the smell got even worse. It's just stupid. All right, moving forward. Self-love. Now, this is a really always up for debate, and I'm always down for debate, like conscious, aware debate. Oh, okay. but you cannot consume animal products and call yourself healthy. It just doesn't. That's just not reality. Processed meat, red meat, was classified as a Class 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization back in 2017, I think. Now, what is a Class 1 carcinogen? So a Class 1 carcinogen is something that is known 100% without a doubt to cause cancer. For comparison, Class 1 carcinogens include cigarettes, formaldehyde, all that terrible, terrible stuff. So processed meat, like McDonald's hamburgers, hot dogs, bologna, cold cuts, even cold cuts, Lunchables. Did I already say Lunchables? I don't know. All that stuff gives you cancer. There is no doubt about it. The science is there. The research is there. It gives you cancer. So you cannot, and it gives you inflammation, right? A lot of people when they get older, it amazes me. It's so sad. You see people in like their 40s, 50s, 60s dying of heart attacks, right? No, you want to get enraged about something, you want to really make a difference in people's lives, don't worry about terrorism. Don't worry about gun violence. Don't worry about racism. Don't worry about classism. Worry about diet. The number one killer of Americans, 51% of Americans die from heart disease. This is a direct result of what they eat. So if you want to make a difference, you really want to save lives, you want to save a considerable amount of lives, go vegan. Educate people about becoming vegan. Educate people about even becoming vegetarian or even just consuming less of these products, you know. I am all for people who eat less meat or eat less dairy. You know, that's awesome. I think that's great. I don't judge anybody regardless. But if you really want to make a difference, educate people on this. Change the paradigm. Make the shift. Be the shift. Let's see. Also, here's something that's pretty interesting. So, this is just spooky, really. So these large medicinal companies and these large animal agriculture industries and companies like Tyson and Pfizer, they all are sponsors for some of the largest health associations in America and the world, such as the Texas Beef Council partners with the American Heart Association, so they sponsor them. Sponsors for the American Cancer Association include Tyson and Dannon, Pfizer. Sponsors for the American Diabetes Association also includes animal agriculture and Big Pharma. So these are companies that are run at a profit. People are trying to make money off of them, right? If you think that these companies, and if you look at the website, you'll see diet, right? Recommended diet. It'll say bacon wrapped shrimp, chicken, beef, yogurt, milk, cheese. All these things that are known to cause the diseases that they're like spreading awareness about. They have recipes with these foods on their website. So you can't even trust these associations that are out there to help you because they're not there to help you. They're there to make fucking money. It's business. It's companies. It's the way it works. And again, all this information is on my website. Links, sponsors, everything. Let's see. Here's some interesting factoids. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition concludes that if you eat meat, the chances of developing diabetes is 1 in 3. By the way, diabetes. So if your diabetes becomes advanced, you go on this thing called dialysis. You don't know what dialysis is, it's basically external kidneys. So there's this machine that your blood goes through and it filters your blood and puts it back into your body. And if you have very end-stage advanced diabetes, some people have to go to dialysis twice a day. So think about that, quality of life. There's a strong link between consuming dairy and autoimmune diseases such as arthritis. It makes sense because arthritis is or a result of inflammation combined with low cartilage in between the joints. Disease thrives in acidic environments. Dairy and meat leads to acidic pH levels. If you don't consume dairy and meat, your blood and pH level becomes alkaline. Therefore, your inflammation goes down. Your cartilage begins to repair itself. But they don't want you to know this stuff. The USDA admitted that eggs cannot be legally labeled nutritious, low fat, part of a balanced diet, low calorie, healthful, healthy, good for you, or safe. What else do you have to know, motherfucker? Come on. All right. Moving forward, and that's all I have for that. So, whatever you put into your body, end of story, you're feeding or fighting disease. That's a very strong statement, and it's very true. Now, I'm not the kind of person that presents a problem and talks about the problem. I'm the kind of person that presents a problem and presents solutions that is good for the collective whole. So this video is making you aware, right? Making you aware of the truth and the realities of consuming animal products. Now from here on out, I got this out. I got all the bullshit out. I got all the facts out. I got everything out to my side of everything, right? So from here on out, I'm only going to speak about solutions. I'll be bringing you recipes. I'll be bringing you breathing techniques to help with your pain and inflammation. I'll be bringing you meditation techniques. I'll be bringing you ways to help people you care about convince them to maybe persuade them to consume less animal products, or how to communicate with them effectively. That's a tough thing, you know, when you have somebody who's so set in their ways, like your grandparents, or if your parents are older, it's tough to open their eyes. You know, they're plugged into the matrix very deeply. It's ingrained in their culture. It's since they were a kid. Think about it. McDonald's, by the way, is genius marketing. Coming from a marketer's perspective, genius. As a child, they give you these addictive foods, high in salt, and they give you a free toy. And it tastes so good, and it's a treat. Happy Meal, oh my God, it makes me happy, right? And then, eventually, when they're older, they've been consuming McDonald's their whole life, and so they consume it when they're older as adults. So they make a lifelong customer from a young child. Scary stuff when you think about it. Same thing with Burger King, Wendy's, all that stuff. So that's all I got for today. And Veganuary, if you have any questions about being a vegan, anything about how can I do it, what can I eat, what should I eat, what shouldn't I eat, what nutrients am I lacking, what nutrients do I need, let me know, please. I'm always available. My phone number is everywhere. You can hit me up on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, anything. But thank you so much for tuning in. I love all of you, and I hope you have an excellent day and a beautiful new year.